Katt Williams sat on that Club Shay Shay stage and spelled it out in letters we could read from space. We called him bitter. We called him jealous. We called him a hater. And now Kevin Hart is on Instagram calling his own community lazy for believing their own eyes.
Katt tried to tell us about his ass. Katt sat on the Club Shay Shay stage and spelled it out in letters we could read from space. And we called him bitter. We called him jealous. We called him a hater. And now Kevin Hart is on Instagram calling us lazy for believing our own eyes.
Katt tried to tell us about his ass. Katt sat on the Club Shay Shay stage and spelled it out in letters we could read from space. And we called him bitter. We called him jealous. We called him a hater. And now Kevin Hart is on Instagram calling us lazy for believing our own eyes. We saw it with our own eyes. Before we get into everything, I need you to understand what this moment actually is, because this is not just another celebrity beef. This is not just another roast gone wrong. This is a reckoning that has been building for years. Katt Williams warned us in detail, on camera, in front of millions of people, and the internet dragged him for it, called him crazy, called him irrelevant, called him bitter. And now, every single thing he said is playing out in real time in front of our eyes. And Kevin Hart's response to getting caught? He logged onto Instagram and called his own community lazy. Let that sit with you while we break this whole thing down from the beginning. Let's go back to the roast. Kevin Hart, Netflix, his name on the marquee, his production company behind the camera, his event, his night. And in that room, Tony Hinchcliffe stood on stage and turned George Floyd's name into a punchline. A man who was murdered in the street, who called for his mama with a knee on his neck, who became the face of a global movement. That man's name became a comedy bit at Kevin Hart's Netflix special, and the camera caught Kevin Hart's reaction. He laughed. Now people started talking about the George Floyd joke immediately, but there was something else in that room that night that got less attention at first, and it might actually be worse. Shane Gillis stood on that stage and made a lynching joke about Kevin Hart, about a black man, in front of a live audience on Netflix. And the word lynch was used like it was nothing, like it was just another punchline.
It wasn't the George Floyd joke was unnecessary. It was the lynching joke for me. Why are you even saying the word lynch? When we lynch Kevin, Kevin Hart's so short. When we lynch him, we got to use a bonsai tree. Lynch him. If I had a went and was in the audience just watching, there would be viral footage of me getting the fuck up and walking the fuck out. You don't cross the line.
No, it wasn't the George Floyd joke, the lynching joke for me. Why are you even saying the word lynch? Kevin's heart so short, when we lynch him, we gotta use a bonsai tree. Lynch him. If I had went and was in the audience just watching, there would be viral footage of me getting the hell up and walking the hell out. You don't cross that line for me. So what did Kevin Hart do after the roast? After the George Floyd joke? After the lynching joke? After Black Twitter started asking serious questions about what happened on that stage? He went on The Breakfast Club and said, "We move on." And then, and this is where things really fell apart, he logged onto Instagram and posted something that genuinely made people stop and read it 3 times to make sure they were seeing it correctly.
And he said, and I'm quoting this man directly, he said, "We are living in crazy times. Truth no longer matters, and it's pretty damn funny. Nobody does research. Everyone just assumes and runs with the narrative of clickbait." Kevin, baby, what research did we need to do? We watched the video. We saw George Floyd's name get turned into a punchline on your stage by a white man. We saw you laughed at it.
Kevin went on Instagram today, and when I tell y'all, I had to read it 3 times, because the first time I thought I was hallucinating. And he said, "We are living in crazy times. Truth no longer matters, and it's pretty damn funny. Nobody does research. Everyone just assumes and runs with the narrative of clickbait." Kevin, baby, what research did we need to do? We watched the video. We saw George Floyd's name get turned into a punchline on your stage by a white man. We saw you laugh at it. Nobody does research. Everyone runs with clickbait. That is what Kevin Hart said to a community that watched his roast with their own eyes on Netflix in HD. This is not a rumor that spread online. This is not a screenshot that got misinterpreted. This is not a clip taken out of context. People watched the event live. They saw the jokes. They saw Kevin's reactions. They saw what stayed in and what got cut. And Kevin Hart's response was to tell those people, you didn't do your research. Kevin, what research? The video is right there, but here is where it gets even deeper. Because while Kevin was on Instagram talking about clickbait and lazy thinking, some people started digging into what actually happened in the editing room. And what they found changed the entire conversation. This is the part that broke people. This is the detail that took this from a roast controversy to something much bigger. Kevin Hart, as producer of his own Netflix roast, had editorial control. He was in that editing room. He had the power to decide which jokes made the final cut and which ones got pulled before the world saw them. And it came out that 18 jokes were removed before the taped version aired. 18 jokes about Melania Trump, removed. Too controversial, too sensitive, might upset the wrong people. Jokes about white women, removed. But the George Floyd joke stayed. The lynching joke stayed. Jokes about black people being dark-skinned stayed. Jokes about slavery stayed. Jokes referring to black people as monkeys stayed. Jokes calling black women men stayed. Kevin Hart, in that editing room, made a decision, a conscious, deliberate decision, that the feelings of white people were worth protecting, and the trauma of black people was worth keeping for entertainment value.
You remove 18 jokes of them joking about white people, about the Trumps. You removed them jokes, but you left them talking about us being black, our shade color, y'all, how dark we are. Us being slave, they joked about that. Us being referred to as monkeys, they joked about that. Okay, calling black women men, they talked about that. He didn't remove none of them jokes, but for the white women and for the Trumps, 18 jokes got removed for the tape version. For the tape version, 18 got removed. Jokes about Melania Trump, jokes, they decided, oh, that's just too much. We're not going to talk about her. It's too controversial, or, she's too protected, or they're going to get upset. They only cared about their people. But George Floyd joke, the slavery joke, the joke about us, oh, it stayed. Y'all better like this video and y'all better share, okay? It's time. We got to stick. Come on now. We got right is right. That one stayed. We stayed. Our joke stayed. That one made the cut. Yeah. The one that got your laugh and your broadcast to millions, Kevin, it was us. So don't tell us about comedians' autonomy when you're in the editing room deciding which jokes lived and which jokes died. You ain't tell that shit.
Kevin, why you ain't tell them? You removed 18 jokes of them joking about white people, about the Trumps. You removed them jokes, but you left them talking about us being black, our shade color, how dark we are, us being slaves. They joked about that. Us being referred to as monkeys. They joked about that. Calling black women men. They talked about that. He didn't remove none of them jokes, but for the white women and for the Trumps, 18 jokes got removed for the tape version. Jokes about Melania Trump, they decided, oh, that's just too much. But George Floyd joke, the slavery joke, the joke about us, oh, it stayed. And when people started putting that information together, the comments section told the whole story. Over 1,000 people wrote, Katt Williams was right. Over 1,200 people said, we are not watching your new movie. People who had defended Kevin Hart for years. people who had bought tickets to his shows, people who had streamed his specials on Netflix, people who had argued with strangers online about why Kevin Hart deserved his success and his platform. Those same people were now in the comments writing, Uncle Ruckus, boss right away, massa. Katt was right the whole time. That is not a Twitter moment. That is not a trend that dies in 48 hours. That is a community that feels genuinely betrayed. And the reason it hit that deep is because of what Kevin did next.
Here's what made me have to stop and walk around my kitchen before I could even finish reading this post, y'all. Kevin Hart, after all of this, after defending the joke, after calling us lazy, after saying truth doesn't matter, this man wrote, and I quote, P.S. New movie dropping this summer. He tagged his movie in the same spot where he's defending George Floyd jokes, where he's calling black people lazy for being hurt, where he's telling us we're running with clickbait about a man who got murdered.
Here's what broke me, y'all. Here's what made me have to stop and walk around my kitchen before I could even finish reading this post. Kevin Hart, after all of this, after defending the joke, after calling us lazy, after saying truth doesn't matter, this man wrote, P.S. New movie dropping this summer. He tagged his movie in the same post where he's defending George Floyd jokes, where he's calling black people lazy for being hurt, where he's telling us we're running with clickbait about a man who got murdered. P.S. New movie dropping this summer. Read that again slowly. Kevin Hart defended a George Floyd joke, called his community lazy, told them they don't do research, said truth no longer matters, and then, in the same Instagram post, plugged his new movie. That is the moment that broke people beyond repair. Not the roast, not the Breakfast Club interview, not the Instagram post about clickbait. That PS at the end, because that PS told you exactly how Kevin Hart sees his community, not as people whose pain matters, not as the audience that built him from nothing, not as the community that bought every ticket and streamed every special and argued his name in every comment section for 20 years. He sees them as a market, a demographic, a customer base that he can defend George Floyd jokes to and then sell a movie to in the same breath. And that is the thing that Katt Williams was trying to explain years ago, in language that people were not ready to hear. Let's go back to Club Shay Shay, because everything happening right now connects directly to what Katt Williams said in that interview. Katt Williams did not just call Kevin Hart an industry plant for no reason. He was not just being petty or bitter or jealous like people accused him of being. He was describing a system, a specific way that the entertainment industry operates when it finds someone useful. He said the roles that built Kevin Hart's career, the movies that made him a household name, were roles that had already been offered to Katt, and Katt said no, because he refused to do certain things the industry wanted from him. And the industry found someone who would say yes. Now look at the roast through that lens. Kevin Hart, as producer, had the power to pull every single offensive joke from that show. He had final say. He exercised that power for 18 jokes that might have upset white people or powerful people in Hollywood. But he did not exercise that power for the jokes about black death, black trauma, black pain. And when the community called him out on it, he got on Instagram and called them lazy. That is not a man who forgot where he came from. That is a man who made a calculation. And the calculation was, my Hollywood relationships are worth more than my community's feelings right now. I will protect the people who can greenlight my next movie, and I will tell everybody else to do their research. Katt Williams saw that calculation coming years before it happened and paid a serious career price for saying it out loud.
He want to play dumb. He is a puppet. And when I say that, meaning that the white people have him on the strings. I don't know what he did or what they got on him, but he's stuck. So he's going to do what they're saying. he understands, he knows what we're saying, he knows where we're coming from, but he has to play defense for that team. So no matter what, he's always going to come, he's always going to budge. He's not even talking for himself, he's talking in defense for the other team so he can continue to do whatever stuff they doing in Hollywood.
He is a puppet. And when I say that, meaning that the white people have him on the strings. I don't know what he did or what they got on him, but he's stuck. So he's gonna do what they saying. He understands. He knows what we're saying. He knows where we're coming from, but he has to play defense for that team. So no matter what, he's always gonna budge. He's not even talking for himself. He's talking in defense for the other team so he can continue to do whatever stuff they doing in Hollywood. Here is what this moment is really about. And this is bigger than Kevin Hart, bigger than the roast, bigger than one Netflix special. For 20 years, Black audiences have been the most loyal customer base in entertainment. They showed up for every Kevin Hart movie, every comedy special, every tour. They argued his name online against people who said he was not funny. They built him into one of the highest paid entertainers on the planet. And when Kevin Hart stood in that editing room with the power to protect that community's dignity, he made a different choice. He protected the people who could give him more Hollywood access. He kept the jokes about Black pain because they were good for the show. And he pulled the jokes that might have caused friction with more powerful people. Then when the community reacted, he told them they were lazy, that they were running with clickbait, that truth no longer matters. And then he plugged his movie. That is the system that Katt Williams described. Not with anger, not with bitterness, with specificity, with receipts, with detail. And everyone called him crazy. 1,282 people in Kevin Hart's own comment section just told you who was right. We understand perfectly, Kevin. We understand that you removed 18 jokes for white people's comfort, but kept the ones about Black death. We understand that you called us lazy for caring. We understand that you tagged your movie in the same breath. And we understand that Katt Williams tried to save us from this very moment. And we did not listen, but we listening now. We listening now. That is the sentence that should follow Kevin Hart everywhere he goes to promote this movie. Every interview, every red carpet, every talk show appearance. Katt Williams tried to warn us. The community dismissed him. And Kevin Hart just proved in the most public way possible that Katt Williams was not bitter. He was right. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Kevin Hart can recover from this, or is the community done for good? And if this video said what needed to be said, you already know what to do.